It started with a simple desire. Get back in shape, clear my head, lift some weights. I found a 24-hour gym just outside of town, cheap, quiet, and practically abandoned. But what I didn't know was the place wasn't helping me get stronger. It was feeding off me. Hit that like button, subscribe to Mr. Darkveil, and make sure you're alone when you listen to this one. Because after this story, you'll never look at an empty gym the same way again. I've never been a gym guy, you know the type. Neon shaker bottles, tank tops, protein burps. But after my breakup, I needed an outlet. Something to keep me busy, keep my mind off things. I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't eating, I was spiraling. So I made a resolution. Get healthy, get strong, get over her. Problem was, I didn't want to go to some busy gym full of people I might know. I needed quiet, solitude, something low-key. That's when I saw the flyer. It was pinned to a bulletin board outside a gas station on the edge of town. Black and white, cheaply printed. Iron body, 24-hour gym, first week free, no judgment, no crowds. Underneath, a map and a phone number. It looked sketchy, sure, but something about it felt perfect. I took a photo and drove straight there that night. Iron Body was located on the edge of an industrial park, tucked between a condemned warehouse and what looked like an abandoned strip mall. No signage, no people, just a dimly lit parking lot and a single metal door. But when I stepped inside, I was surprised. It was clean, sterile, almost. No front desk, no staff. Just racks of weights, cardio machines, squat racks, mirrors, and fluorescent lights that buzzed faintly overhead. The walls were painted a dull gray, and the whole place smelled faintly of old rubber and antiseptic. No music, no TVs. It was dead silent, exactly what I wanted. I spotted a keypad near the door with a handwritten sign taped above it. Enter your phone number for access. I typed in the number I saw on the flyer. The keypad beeped. The door behind me clicked shut. That should have been the first red flag, the sound of the door locking behind me. But I wasn't thinking, I was focused. I dropped my bag, stretched, and started lifting. That first workout was perfect. I had the whole place to myself. Every machine was spotless. Nothing broken, no loud grunting, no awkward small talk, just me and the weights. I spent about an hour doing basic lifts, bench, curls, some squats. Then, something weird happened. I looked in the mirror and noticed my reflection didn't quite line up. It was a fraction of a second behind me. I turned my head. It turned slower, delayed. But just when I blinked, it snapped back into place. I figured I was tired. Or maybe the mirrors were old. But it was enough to give me a weird feeling in my gut. I grabbed my bag, walked back to the front door, and realized there was no handle on the inside. Just the keypad again. I panicked for a second. But when I touched the keypad, the door beeped again and slid open. The air outside felt colder. The parking lot was emptier than before. But I told myself I was being paranoid. Over the next few days, I kept going back. The gym was always empty, always quiet. And I started feeling better, stronger. My biceps popped more. My chest filled out. I was sleeping deeper, even dreaming again. Though the dreams were strange. They always took place in the gym. I'd walk in, but everything was off. The machines melted into the walls. The mirrors stretched endlessly, and the only sound was breathing. Not mine. Something deeper, something heavier. I'd wake up drenched in sweat. Heart racing. Still, I went back. That's the thing, I had to, I felt drawn to it. The more I lifted, the more I felt alive. But then the hallucinations started. On the 5th night, I was doing lat pull-downs when I saw someone. In the mirror, just behind me, a man, wearing a hoodie, standing by the dumbbells. But when I turned, no one. I checked again. He was closer now. No face, just teeth. Smiling, I spun around, empty gym. The lights flickered. I backed away, chest heaving, trying to convince myself I was just tired. Low blood sugar, something explainable. Then I heard it. The weights clanged, not my machine, the bench press. But no one was there. The bar moved, lifted, dropped. Invisible reps. I didn't wait to see more. I bolted for the door, slammed the keypad, and stumbled into the night. The next morning, I decided to call the number on the flyer just to see who ran this place. Disconnected. So I Googled the gym, no results, no business license, no reviews, nothing on Google Maps. It was like it didn't exist. I drove back in daylight, broad daylight. The door was gone. Where the gym entrance had been was just a bricked-up wall, like nothing had ever been there. I walked the perimeter 3 times. No windows, no doors, no keypad, just cold stone. I asked a nearby warehouse worker if he knew about Iron Body Gym. He squinted at me. There's no gym around here, hasn't been for years. I tried to laugh it off, but something had shifted. That night, I didn't sleep. The next evening, I got a text. Come back, one last set. No number, no contact, I should have ignored it. But I didn't. I drove out there again, even though I knew it was insane. And somehow, the door was there again. Same keypad, same beep, same lock clicking shut behind me. Only this time, the gym wasn't empty. I saw maybe 7 other people, all working out. But they weren't normal. They moved like puppets, jerky, mechanical, eyes glassy, sweat pouring from their skin like they were being boiled alive. One guy was curling 150 pounds, both arms, no breaks, no rest, just repeating the same motion with a blank face. A woman on the treadmill ran so fast her shoes were smoking, and none of them made a sound. I tried to speak, to ask if they were okay, but when I opened my mouth, no words came out. I wasn't breathing. My lungs weren't working. And then the mirror across the room shattered, and something crawled out of it. It looked human, but wrong. Tall, skin tight over bones. Its eyes were holes swirling with black smoke. Its mouth was too wide, filled with too many teeth, all cracked, all smiling. It wore a trainer's shirt. "Let's get strong," it whispered, voice gurgling like broken speakers. I turned to run, but my feet were locked to the ground. I tried to scream, nothing. Then it reached me. It didn't grab me. It tapped my chest, right over my heart. And I felt it stop. Just for a second, my vision dimmed. My knees buckled. Then it was gone. Everyone else in the gym stopped too, all at once. Then they turned toward me, eyes glowing red. I finally screamed, and everything went black. I woke up in my apartment, fully clothed, shoes still on. My gym bag was at my feet, but my phone was gone. I checked the mirror in my hallway for a second. Just a second, I didn't see myself. I saw him, the trainer, smiling. I never went back to the gym. I drove past that spot dozens of times. The building is always bricked up, no signs, no lights. But sometimes, late at night when I walk past reflective glass, I see weight machines in the background or rows of dumbbells. And once, I swear to God, I saw my reflection curl something heavy and keep curling after I'd already walked away. If you see a flyer for a gym that doesn't exist, don't go. If it's always empty, always quiet, it's not a gym, it's a trap, and it's still looking for its next member, you lift iron there. But it lifts something else out of you. Story 2. I thought I was going insane. Every time I went to the gym, something followed me into the locker room. No one believed me, not my trainer, not security, not even the cops. But I wasn't imagining it. There's something living under the gym. Something that uses the locker room as its hunting ground. If you go alone, if you stay too late, it might find you too. Like, subscribe to Mr. Darkveil and don't look under the bench. It's closer than you think. I've been going to my gym for almost 3 years. It's your typical big box fitness center. Rows of treadmills, squat racks, grunting dudes with Bluetooth earbuds. No one talks. Everyone's in their own world. It's the kind of place where nobody notices anything. And that's the problem. Because someone or something is using that to its advantage. And I know how that sounds, believe me. But once I tell you what happened, you might start to believe me too. It started 2 months ago. I always went at the same time, just after midnight. I worked night shifts and liked having the place mostly to myself. The front desk staff barely looked up when I scanned in. The building was too big, too empty, and too dim. One night, after a long leg day, I went back to the locker room to change. It was silent except for the distant whine of an industrial fan somewhere behind the vents. I opened my locker, sat down on the bench, and started unlacing my shoes when I heard it. A whisper. So faint I thought I imagined it. It came from behind the row of lockers. The phrase was muffled but unmistakable. Not done yet. I froze. Hello? Nothing. I stepped around the lockers. No one. The back wall was sealed. No door, no vent, just smooth tile. I shrugged it off. Maybe someone was in the next aisle. Thin walls, weird acoustics. But something about the voice made my stomach turn. It sounded wet, like someone had water in their lungs. It happened again. 3 nights later, same setup, late session, empty gym, back to the locker room. I heard the whisper again, louder this time. Don't leave. Stay with me. It echoed down the row, like someone was crouching behind the lockers just inches away. I dropped my towel and ran down the aisle. No one. No footsteps, no doors creaking open. But when I returned to my locker, it was open. My bag had been unzipped, my wallet and keys laid out neatly beside it, like someone was going through my stuff. I reported it to the desk. The guy barely looked up from his phone. "We don't have blind spots," he said, "and you're the only person who checked in during that window." I checked the security footage the next day. It cut out during the exact time I was in the locker room. Just a blank screen and a signal lost message. From then on, things got worse. Every time I went in, the whispers grew louder, more aggressive. "You don't belong here, take it off, show me your skin." Sometimes it wasn't words, just breathing. Heavy and fast, like an animal right behind me. I stopped showering there, I'd rush home instead, but one night I stayed too long, and I think that's when it decided I was next. I had headphones in, finishing up squats, and didn't realize the music had stopped. When I did, I looked around, and the gym was empty. Even the front desk was dark. I checked my phone. 2:12 a.m., way past closing, which was weird because the gym is supposed to be 24 hours. I headed to the locker room, already annoyed, but when I pushed open the door, everything felt wrong. The lights inside were dim, flickering. The air was hot and wet, like a swamp, and it stank like mildew, old meat, and bleach. I called out, nothing. I hurried to my locker and grabbed my stuff. That's when I heard the shower running. I hadn't heard it when I came in. I looked at the stalls. One was occupied, curtain drawn, water gushing, but no sound of anyone moving, no shadows, no footsteps. Then I heard the voice. "Do you want to see me now?" I turned and ran, straight to the exit, but the locker room door wouldn't open. The handle clicked, but stayed locked, trapped. Behind me, the shower shut off. No footsteps, just dripping. Then the curtain began to slide open, slowly, deliberately. I grabbed the nearest bench and smashed it into the door until it finally buckled. I spilled into the hallway, sprinted through the dark gym, and didn't stop until I was outside. I didn't go back for a week. When I did, it was during the day. The locker room was normal, clean, bright. I told the manager everything. She smiled politely, but I could tell she thought I was unwell. Still, she agreed to let me see the security feed again, but once again, footage missing. From 2 a.m. to 2:20 a.m., exactly when it happened. Worse, there was no record of me swiping in that night. Their system had me absent, as if I was never there. I became obsessed. I started researching the building, found out it used to be part of a military training facility in the 60s, decommissioned after several employee deaths in the basement. No further records. Then, one night, I noticed something strange. The vent at the base of the lockers? It wasn't connected to anything. I opened it with a screwdriver. Inside was a dark crawl space. No dust, no debris, just smooth tile and a handprint on the wall. Fresh, smudged, wet, too large to be human. I backed away, put the vent back, and left. I should have stopped then, but I needed to know what was in there. I came back one last time, with a flashlight and a GoPro clipped to my chest, waited until after midnight. The place was empty again. I entered the locker room. It was quiet. Too quiet. I opened the vent, slid in. It was tighter than I expected. My shoulders scraped the walls. The smell was unbearable. Copper, rot, sweat. The tunnel twisted downward beneath the gym. Eventually, it opened into a larger chamber. No lights. Only my flashlight sweeping across what looked like bones, piles of them, and clothing, gym bags, towels, IDs, all people who had gone missing. And in the middle, a shape. Tall, emaciated, wrapped in wet towels. Its skin hung like rags. Its face was a human blur. Eyes that weren't eyes, lips that didn't part. I froze. The creature tilted its head. "You came back." Its voice was exactly like the whisper in the locker room. I turned and crawled as fast as I could. It didn't follow. It didn't have to. I could feel it inside my head now. I haven't been to a gym since. I moved apartments, changed my number. But sometimes in the middle of the night, I wake up to find my locker open, my wallet laid out, my gym towel soaking wet. And somewhere just under the bed, I hear, "Not done yet." Story 3. They promised me the perfect body. They said it would take discipline, pain, and dedication. But they never mentioned the blood, and they never said what would happen if I tried to quit. This isn't a gym. It's a trap, one I can never leave. You're listening to Mr. Darkveil. If you're drawn to stories that crawl under your skin and echo in the dark, hit subscribe, smash that like button, and ring the bell icon. Because what you hear tonight may not leave you alone. It started with a flyer, glossy, black, barely visible under a streetlight. The sculptor's gym. Real results, real transformation, invite only. I found it at 2 a.m., walking home after a rough shift. I'd been trying to change my life, lose weight, build muscle, take control. YouTube workouts weren't cutting it, and the usual gyms felt like social clubs for people who already had abs. So I emailed the address on the back, mostly out of desperation. Less than 5 minutes later, I got a reply. "You've been chosen. 3:33 a.m. Don't be late. Leave your phone in the car." There was no explanation. Just an address in the industrial district. A place I'd never been. I almost ignored it. I really wish I had. The building looked abandoned. A squat gray warehouse with fog rolling across the asphalt. No lights, no windows, just a thick metal door with a glowing red keypad. As soon as I approached, the door clicked open with a hiss. Inside, everything was spotless. Sterile. Chrome dumbbells, black mats. Squat racks lined up like soldiers. but it was dead silent. No music, no mirrors, just a man. He wore a red hooded sweatshirt. Tall, broad, his face hidden in the shadows. "First timer?" he asked. I nodded. "Call me Sculptor," he said. "Welcome to your new form." He handed me a towel, a metal water bottle, and a small black card with 4 words printed on it. "Train in silence. Mirror your instructor exactly. Never skip a session. Do not question the process." That was it, and I stayed. We trained in the dark, no clocks, no phones, just a ticking metronome and the sculptor moving like a machine. Every movement was intense, perfectly structured, agonizing in a way I'd never felt before. After the first session, I vomited in the parking lot, but by the next morning I could already see veins popping in my arms I'd never noticed before. The transformation began almost instantly. I went back the next night, and the next. I stopped using my alarm. I'd just wake up wide-eyed at 3 a.m. on the dot, lacing up my shoes without thinking. Something deeper than discipline was at work. Eventually, I wasn't alone. Other members arrived, silent, focused, always in sync with the sculptor. We never spoke, not once. It was like a church, him as the priest, us as the congregation. Some nights, I'd notice new faces. Some would disappear after a few sessions, never to return. Their names? I never learned them. But I noticed their towels would remain, folded neatly by the racks, as if waiting for them to come back, as if the gym was waiting. Within 2 weeks, my body looked completely different. I had definition, power, energy. Even my skin felt tighter, smoother. But that's when the dreams started. They weren't nightmares, at least not at first. I'd dream of myself lifting weights, staring into a mirror that wasn't mine. I'd be smiling. Then the mirror me would keep moving after I stopped. Smiling wider, muscles twitching unnaturally, bleeding. I woke up one morning with deep, claw-like scratches down my back. Another day, I noticed stitches running across my bicep. Dark thread, surgical and crude. They were gone by nightfall. But the next session, the sculptor looked at me and said, "You are being shaped. Don't resist." I didn't know what that meant, but I obeyed. It was in my 4th week that things changed. The sculptor led me to a section of the gym, a room with mirrored walls and polished stone floors. No weights, no racks. "Now," he said, "sculpt your soul." He closed the door behind me. It locked. The room felt cold, electric. When I moved, my reflection lagged, just for a second. But it was enough. Then I noticed there were more of me. One in each mirror, all slightly different. One grinned like it knew something I didn't. One was sobbing blood. One was completely still even as I moved. I tried to leave. The door wouldn't budge. For 7 hours, I was trapped in there, twisting, stretching, following my reflections as they distorted. When the door finally opened, I collapsed. The sculptor was standing there. He smiled. Progress. The next night, I didn't go. I turned off my alarm, turned my phone off, even locked myself in my bedroom. But I woke at 3:33 a.m. anyway, standing in my kitchen, fully dressed, keys in hand. I hadn't moved on my own. I was being pulled. Something inside me wanted to return. I fought it. I didn't go that night or the next, but by day 3, my body began to ache. Not sore, but wrong. My skin felt too tight. My bones felt like they were shifting underneath. In every mirror I passed, I saw the same reflection. Me, but not. It wasn't copying me anymore, it was watching. I returned one last time, not to train, to destroy it. I brought gasoline, a hammer. I was going to burn it down. But when I arrived, the building was different. Old, decayed, covered in graffiti, windows shattered. No keypad, no lights. It looked like it hadn't been touched in decades. I forced my way inside. Dust filled the air. Cobwebs clung to machines that looked rusted through. But in the locker room, I found something chilling. A wall of photographs, Polaroids, dozens, hundreds. Each one of someone standing shirtless, flexing, smiling. Except some weren't smiling. Some were screaming, crying, twisting. And one photo was of me, only in mine. My eyes were black. My mouth was sewn shut. That was 3 weeks ago. I moved, changed my number. I haven't stepped into another gym since. But at 3:33 a.m., every night I wake up, heart racing, drenched in sweat. Sometimes my arms move on their own. Sometimes I find myself flexing in the mirror without realizing. And sometimes I see my reflection smiling before I do. Waiting. One night I know it'll reach out and trade places, because the sculptor doesn't let his projects go unfinished. And I was never his client. I was his clay. I don't go near mirrors anymore. Because one day, the reflection won't just watch, it'll step out. And when it does, I won't be here to warn you. If this story left a chill in your spine, hit like, tap subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to stay close to the darkness. You've been listening to Mr. Darkveil. Until next time, stay in your own skin, or something else might crawl into it.